Hello everyone, I'm representing Stampfinity today and we are a specialty stamp manufacturer. So we do basically stamps from either unique materials and or technical integrations, digital components. Maybe you've also heard of the Cryptostamp, which is one of our most known products, and I will also be part of this presentation today. But in general, I thought I'll do a little personal review of my 10 favorite stamp projects that we have manufactured and issued over the past few years so far. So maybe my colleagues would show you 10 different stamps, but these are my personal favorites. And a few of them are crypto stamps, so we will touch the slightly base there. I'll give a brief introduction, but it's not going to be anything too technical, so no worries there. And also at the end of the presentation, we can do a little Q&A and discussion round. So if anything is unclear, just bear with me to the end. So starting with my top 10, this one is a stamp that we manufactured for Austrian Post, and it is made out of tennis felt material, and it depicts a very famous Austrian, very talented and handsome tennis player, Dominic Thiem. So they did this postage stamp to honor him, and we were able to print it not just on any tennis felt material, but we actually did some research and found out who the manufacturer is of his specific tennis balls, of his favorite brand, and we were able to get our hands on the materials. And yes, so instead of just printing the stamp design on paper, the Austrian Post dared to go into the felt, the tennis felt, and I think it turned out as a very lovely stamp. So moving on to number 9, you already can see we use very unique materials. Here we have a specialty stamp made out of an adhesive plaster, so you can actually use it as an adhesive plaster, or you can put it on an envelope and send it. By the way, all the stamps you see here can actually be sent, so they're all meant to ship mail. They're not just memorabilia. And this one was one of the two specialty stamps we have done during COVID. And the text on the stamp says, "It doesn't even hurt that much." So here you also have a closer picture of them. I think it's really funny that they issued this specialty stamp, and also the glue is like you know it from adhesive plasters with these two flaps. We just made sure that it also sticks very well on the envelopes. Then I'm already cheating at number 8, but I had to put 2 because they're a little bit related, these stamp products. But basically what we have done here for the Austrian Post, but also for Switzerland Post, is when they had a change in their postman's uniform, so in the workwear of the postmans, they wanted not to just throw it away, they wanted to memorize the workwear that so many people have worn for so many years, and that's why they came to us and asked us to upcycle these materials. And we have done this execution in a little bit different way for both of the postal operators. So for the Austrian stamp that you see on the left-hand side, so the blue one, we actually took the postman shirts, we cleaned them, we grinded the materials up, and then we created this handmade rag paper where you still see all the little bits and the blues of the fabric, and it naturally colored the stamp this beautiful blue, and it's one of the last windmills in Europe that still does that. So here we took this approach of making this new material out of the old postman shirt. And on the other hand, for Swiss Post, they still had some of the fabric left over from the manufacturing of the shirts. And since they changed the color and the material and everything, they knew they were not going to use this material for anything else. So they asked us to use this leftover fabric of the postman shirt and create the stamps out of it. So here we have taken full fabric and we have laminated it onto some backing material and have created these beautiful stamp sheets that also come in the shape of a postman shirt or of a shirt. And this is a product that we launched just last November, and these stamp sheets have already sold out. We still have some single stamp versions and stamp cancellations left over, but all in all, I really like these projects because they Um, Personally, I always like the upcycling of projects, but I think it's also very nice to see how appreciative all the members of the post organizations were in having a little piece of memory of the uniform. So, personal favorite, definitely. Next up, the exception to us printing paper stamps is toilet paper. So we have done that. This is the second COVID stamp that we have printed for Austria Post. And basically, why they picked the theme is because during COVID in Austria, toilet paper was widely sold out due to some hoarding purchases and the delivery issues. But the Austrian players thought it's funny to also commemorate on these surreal events. And they asked us to manufacture toilet paper stamps during a time where you could literally get nowhere toilet paper. So it was also not easy for us to get a lot of toilet paper in time where it was sold out everywhere. But we managed to convince them that this is the actual product and it's not just a joke call. So on the stamp, it says a distance that brings us closer together. And the image on it with the baby elephant was like a campaign that they run back then in Austria that you should keep about a 1 meter distance to each other for safety reasons. And this is approximately the size of a baby elephant. So in Austria, people would have said, let's keep a baby elephant distance. And yes, this is a stamp that also ended up in a museum on the other side of the world, basically. So it's in Australia in a museum, which I think is very funny. And it was a very popular stamp, also because half of the face value was donated to a good cause. And it also has quite a big issue size of 300,000 pieces. Moving on to number 6 would be the beer coaster stamp or map. So you have the beer coaster, you could push out the stamp itself. It is gummed on the back, so you can lick it and put it on an envelope, but you could still use the beer coaster with the hole in the middle. And in general, the Austrian Post issued this one for Oktoberfest, and also in general, Austria is a big beer nation, so beer is very popular over here. Then we have one stamp that we created for Morocco Post. And here I think the picture really doesn't do it justice because the best part about this thing is the tactile experience because it is made out of real wood veneer, but it's also built out of 4 different layers. So you also have some gold foil in there, you have some height printing in there, and when you touch it, you really can feel the height and like the little 3D effects of the stamp. So I also like this one very much, although it was a very small issuing size. But they have issued this specialty stamp for the 20-year coronation of their king. Moving on to already number 4, so the last stamp before we dive into the crypto stamps a little bit. This stamp has also a lot of details to it. So it was issued for 100 years of railway in Austria. So that was the overall topic. And suitingly, we used acrylic plastic from the window trains, a recycled material from that for the trains. So it is made out of this hard perspex material, and also very special is that it has a chip integrated to it. So we integrated a near field communication chip, which you can basically scan with your smartphone, and it opens up an augmented reality integration of like a locomotive that was like 100 years ago. Drives into a tunnel and it comes out of like this new rail jet, this new train as the trains look nowadays. And you can place the augmented reality in your room and play around with it a little bit. So this is one part that we integrated, but also very nice detail is actually the blue part on the bottom of the stamp, because this is how train signs look in Austria. And they asked us to print every single train station name there is. So we printed over 1,000 different print variations of these stamps, despite all the different train station names there are. And since keeping stock of these 1,000 variations of the same stamp would have been a little bit complicated for the post offices. You actually got, as a collector, you got a random train station, and this led to beautiful community events, a lot of trading, a lot of collectors exchanging the train stations because they either wanted the most known train stations or they wanted the ones where they lived, or even the funny sounding names. So there were some great collecting going on in Austria when this one issued. You could also snap the blue part off. It has a magnet on the back, so you could either use it as a fridge magnet, or miniature train collectors also used it as little train signs for their stations. So a lot of detail went into this, and let me tell you, for us to print over 1,000 print variations is also a little bit tricky, but we managed to get it done. And this also explains the weird issuing size, by the way, because it's a very uneven number. Moving on already to the Cryptostamps, as I announced in the beginning, this is a project that started as one of these specialty stamps for Austria. Austria always issues one technical innovation stamp per year. So they always try to bring out something new, and many of the stamps that I just showed you were part of this series. And the Cryptostamp originally started as one of these technical innovation stamps as well. But by now we have printed over 2 million Cryptostamps. We have about 100 print designs of Cryptostamps, and also 35 other countries issued a similar or related product to this one. So I slightly want to introduce you to the whole topic. Showing you the first ever Cryptostamp that we made was the sign of the unicorn back in 2019. Back then it was also made from plastic. And when people ask me what a Cryptostamp is, very simply, it still is a postage stamp. You can still use it for mail. It just has a digital twin on the blockchain. This digital twin is a so-called NFT, so a non-fungible token, which is an image that is secured on the blockchain network. But in general, the idea behind the Cryptostamp is you have your physical stamp collection, but you have also a digital collection of the same stamps and their digital twins. So it's starting this new trend of digital stamp collecting a little bit. One big thing in the Cryptostamp scene, so to say, is rarities. So although the stamp might come in one physical design, you can still have different digital rarities. And if I open it, I don't know which one I get. It's like a piece of surprise. I can get a black one in this case, which is slightly over 50% of the issue. Or I could get lucky and get like green, blue, or yellow one. Or I get extremely lucky and just get a red one, which is only 1% of the total issue. So the rarities here are the ones that Austria and a few other countries use as well with the colors. But in general, every country brings in new rarity systems and new ideas and new creative concepts. It's not always about colors, but just so you know, there's often a piece of rarity and digital variations to it. So this is also one of the reasons why it became so popular. So over the years since 2019, a lot has also changed with our Cryptostamp. We have continuously improved the product itself. So now it looks something like this, which is a paper card. So we try to make it a little bit more environmentally friendly compared to the plastic card, which we started with. And also the postage stamp is now out of paper, so you can actually take it off the card. So this product consists of several layers, and I slightly just want to show you a few features of it. So you can easily take off the postage stamp off the card. It has a regular gumming on the back, so you can just use it for shipping. Then we have the surrounding card front, which basically holds the stamp and gives it a little bit more of durability. I would say one reason why so many postal operators jumped onto this train is because what we learned with the Cryptostamp is that a lot of new collectors got into the game. NFT collecting is also a thing, and many NFT collectors started collecting stamps with the Cryptostamp. So they try to have it a little bit more durable because these new collectors were not as careful as our beloved philatelists. So the product had to endure a little bit more, and just gives the product a bit stability. The next layer is the blackout layer, which is basically a security feature because there are sensitive codes on the card as well, and this just prevents them from being screened through with light. And then we are already at the heart of the Cryptostamp, which is an encrypted near-field communication chip. Near-field communication is basically the same technology everyone uses for contactless payments. It is included in every smartphone produced after 2016, so most people should be able to use it. And basically, you just have to hold the stamp close to your smartphone. When NFC is activated, it will automatically recognize the stamp being close to it. And we use it in several ways. One of them being it helps us to make the stamps tamper-proof. In the first issue, we did not have this integrated into the stamps, and we had some issue with copycats and frauds on the market. Since we integrated this chip into the crypto stamps, we luckily had no issues with that anymore. And I will not bore you with the details of how this works. I'll just make it very briefly. When you scan the stamp, it basically generates an encrypted one-time message. It sends this message to the server. It checks if the message align, it decodes them, and it just gives the approval back that this stamp is genuine and that it is an original. So you get a little certificate of authentication directly on your smartphone. So we use it for this tamper-proof thing, the product, but we also use the chip for creating a really easy user journey. So with our crypto stamps, you don't need to download an app, you don't need to do a registration, you don't need to generate a wallet. Wallet is basically the place where you store everything blockchain. So if you have cryptocurrencies, you can put them in a wallet. If you have NFTs, you can put them in a wallet. So everything blockchain is basically stored in so-called wallets. But you don't even need to know what it is, or you don't need to know how to generate one, because we generate a wallet for each individual stamp that we produce and already deliver it to the customers with the stamp. This means you also don't need any previous knowledge what blockchain NFT is. It's really straightforward. You just scan the QR code on the stamp, it activates your digital component, and it shows it to you. So whenever you want to see it, you can simply scan the QR code, and that's it. You can do more things with it, but I would say like this is the only thing you have to do with it to see your digital counterpart. Why am I pointing these things out? As I said, there are 35 other countries that also issued crypto stamps. Not all of them have manufactured with us. So just be aware that on the market, there are crypto stamps where you might have to download an app. There are other crypto stamps where you might need to do a registration. And there are also crypto stamps that are not made by us, where you need to generate your own wallet and do transfers and so on. So just a little heads up on not every country issues the same, but if you see the form factor of our card and if you know it's manufactured by us, you can be assured that these things are all true. Also, we do not have any hidden costs in the product, so this refers also to some other stamp projects where you need to pay some transaction fees. But with our products, this is not the case. Then on the back of the card, as I already mentioned, there is a QR code. So that's the access point to your NFT. You just scan it. It shows you the reveal, which color you achieved or which other rarity you achieved. And also we have the transfer code. So if you want to transfer it and trade it digitally, you can do so by using the code. This is hidden underneath a security label, which is also voided. This is a little security feature for the secondary market. Now you know what a crypto stamp is. I want to show you our latest release. It's on my place number 3. It just issued beginning of this week, so it's very new. And it issued on 2nd of March. We produced for Australia Post, same format as I just have showed you. And we have 3 different stamp designs. It's all based around the Lunar New Year, the fire horse. And we have 15 different digital variations that you can collect. And the issue size is 30,300. Within this total quantity, there are 300 physical specialty stamps included. So a few lucky collectors, when they buy the crypto stamp, they will have a physically gold foiled product. So we mixed in some specials in the quantity to be discovered, which I think is a very lovely detail. This has not been done before with any other crypto stamps. And yeah, we are very excited that such a big postal operator now joins the crypto stamp trend as well. Moving on to already number 2 of my top 10 is also a crypto stamp, but a very unique one because here we combined the 2 things that we do best, special material and blockchain, crypto, NFT stamps, and we combined it into this gold version. We already have issued a few of these. The first one actually ended up in the Guinness Book of World Records for the highest face value. I think by now someone already beat us on this title, but back then we held it for some time. I also have one example of the earlier ones here. Back then it was the whale. But we issue these for several countries. We issue them also every year, but they come out in a very limited quantity due to their, of course, high price point. But all of them have a 1 gram real gold bar integrated. So there is a real gold bar laminated inside the crypto stamp. You see they have a little line in the middle of the stamp, so you can snap them off there. You can use the left side as the postage stamp, and you can keep the gold on the right side. I have actually seen a very crazy person that used the whole thing on a letter and literally shipped the gold. And I think it's crazy that it still was on the envelope when it got delivered, so no one stole it. And I think that's personally crazy that you dare to do that, but it's very cool envelope and cancellation mark now. Moving on to my number 1, which of course is also Cryptostamp, because I'm personally a big fan, and this one we did for the Faroe Islands. So it has a quite technical integration, which is called a blockchain oracle, but I don't want to bore you with how it works. I'd rather like to tell you a little bit of how it came to be. When we were sitting in their office at the Faroe Islands, we were brainstorming what could be their first crypto stamp issue. They knew they wanted to do something about the heritage, the culture, so they wanted to pick up on one of these aspects, but it was very hard to find something that they haven't already done like many times before, because they have already issued so many amazing stamps. And while we were sitting in a meeting room, outside it was snowing, and later it was just pure sunshine. And then he explained to us that they also called the lens of maybe, because the weather there is very unpredictable due to the geographic location and how the mountains are built. The weather can be very fast shifting, and we were like, that's the topic. So the whole stamp series is called Stamps of Maybe, and we integrated a weather integration. So you have your physical stamp. They linked to different weather data, so rainfall, temperature, wind speed, and humidity. And if I scan the stamp and activate the digital part while it is sunny, my digital stamp looks different than when my friend activates it on another day where it is pouring rain. So depending on how the weather is at the Faroe Islands in the moment of the activation, your NFT actually changes its appearance. So we always have a live integration and live combination to the weather station in the Faroe Islands, and it's a really fun way to play around with. Here, one of the I think already a little bit more nerdier parts and very specific parts, but really fun parts as well, is that the rarities here are user generated. So it's not predefined which one is the rarest, which one is the best one, but the users actually decide, do they wait for the one that they want to have, which might just happen a few times a year, that it exceeds a certain degree or that a certain weather condition happens. But yeah, so there's a lot of things you can play around with in the stamps, which is why they definitely made it on my number one. So now we already went through the whole collection of my favorites. I hope you now have a little bit of an understanding what else a stamp can be and what Stampfinity produces.
So can you use the stamps, and what percentage of the stamps produced do you think are actually being used for postage rather than collecting?
Oh, that's a really lovely question. So yes, all the stamps that I've showed here can be used for postage, and we have seen quite a lot of them being shipped. But I would definitely say also due to the higher price point and the unique material, many people just buy them because they want to have them as a collectible. So especially the crypto stamps are all mostly being collected. Yes, but we actually see both sides of it, but I would say it's probably shipped a little bit less than a regular stamp.
So part of that question was also, does this differ for crypto compared with the tennis ball stamp, for example?
Yes, so for the tennis ball stamp, I think it was really interesting to see that it was also very popular among the fans of Dominic Thiem and tennis in general. So we also know that a lot of non-philatelic people bought this stamp just because they thought it's a very unique idea. So I don't have exact numbers on how often this one was brought into circulation, but we know that there weren't only philatelists that bought this product.
Is the market for crypto stamps mostly not your traditional stamp collectors?
For crypto stamps, what we have seen really roughly, it splits into three groups. We see the traditional philatelists picking onto it and collecting them. So we definitely see that group. What we also see is that the NFT collectors, so as we call them, the blockchain heavies, so the ones that come more from a technical side, are picking onto it. For them, mostly the innovation is everything in their hobby is mostly digital, and they see the NFTs becoming a physical component, and that you can trade the NFTs in a physical way because it is connected to the physical stamp. So this is also the reason why many of these people started collecting these stamps. And then we also have a third group, which is a little bit of like the curiosity shopper. They saw that the first issue was like of like 150,000 stamps was sold out within minutes. The second one was sold out within a day. So they really just saw the hype. They got curious. They bought it. And we also have some of the trading card collectors. We believe this is maybe because of the form factor, and also we are getting bigger and bigger every year at events like the Comic-Con. So we already at the third year at the Comic-Con and see an increasing interest there as well. So I definitely say the crypto stamp is a product that helps us find new collectors and reach out to different people as well.
But where can I buy all these stamps? I can't see these on your website.
Yes. So far we are just a manufacturer and we did not plan to sell these. By now, many people have convinced us otherwise. So right now we're actually building a shop and it will be launching in like 2 weeks probably, that you actually can buy a selection of our stamps. But normally we would just refer to the web shops of the postal operators themselves. So depending of who we cooperated with, you can purchase them on their website.
Yeah.
Cryptostamp family, for example, you find a website where you can see all the referring links as well. But as I said, we will launch a shop, but it will have a very selective stamps.
Yeah.
We don't have all of the ones that we have produced in stock.
And also, I just wanted to say it was really fantastic talk. It's nice to see sort of like a different side to stamps. Particularly for me, I loved the postman's shirts. That I think that's just such a great idea. And I'm a lover of unicorns as well, so it's nice to see it's nice to see a unicorn stamp in there.
Enjoying the rest of Stampex.
Yeah, thank you. Take
Have
care.
a lovely day.
Bye.
We hope to see you at our next Stampex show, at Virtual Stampex or in person in London.